How's it going, bud? How's your meter?
Yes, sure.
Meter works?
Meter.
Okay. Does it start off at a number or start zero?
Huh?
It starts at zero?
Yes.
Okay, okay, making sure. Thanks. Yeah, you know, it's Jerusalem. All right. So 2 years ago when I was in Israel, I had the pleasure of meeting and interviewing Rabbi Chaim Richman, who's the international director of the Temple Institute. And the Temple Institute is the place that Vernon and I visited yesterday. They're preparing for the building of the third Jewish temple. Well, right now we're going to meet the founder of a similar organization. It's actually an older organization. I believe it was the first one of its kind for advocating for the building of a third temple. And this organization is called the Temple Mount Faithful, and the gentleman that we're meeting with is Gershon Salomon, and this guy's all over Wikipedia, all over the history books, so this should be an interesting meeting, so here we go. Can't read that. Here we go. Should backpacks. You scared of heights?
No, not at all.
Okay, we're good then. Floor number 11.
There?
Yeah, Ryan Speakman and Vernon. Hi, how are you?
Hi,
Yeah.
we were expecting you.
Oh, good. Yes,
Yeah.
we're at the right place then. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to be on the film. So
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Yeah.
I spoke also in Arizona, you know.
Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah.
Where'd you speak there? Probably Phoenix or? Scottsdale?
No, they rented a public place.
Okay. Was it in
A
Phoenix?
couple of friends of us.
Okay.
They rented a public place,
Mm-hmm.
and I spoke there. It was packed with people.
Wow. Great. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Probably Phoenix.
In Arizona, it was the first time I came to Arizona.
Yeah. So good. This will bring back good memories. So that's just a magazine.
This is for me.
Yeah. This is a gift for you.
Oh, thank
This
you.
is made by the Navajo Indians, and it's authentic, certificate of authenticity. So
Thank you.
yeah, just a little gift to
It's so nice.
represent our home state. So
Thank you.
Oh, you
Appreciate
yeah.
that.
Oh yeah, we appreciate you meeting with us. So yeah,
So
one to
special,
bless you.
yes.
So yeah.
And you are a pastor, yes?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I'm an associate pastor at a church. Yeah.
Associated pastor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you pastor a church in Arizona.
Yeah, Lake Havasu City. I don't know if you've ever heard of that. It's a little city on the Colorado River.
Uh-huh.
So right on the border with California, way out in the desert.
Uh-huh.
We're kind of in the middle of nowhere, which is the way we like it. So
Really?
yeah, it's nice. So yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, I really appreciate you meeting with us, Gershon. Yeah, it's just such a pleasure. I've been researching my topic for years, and your name, comes up everywhere. So you're kind of a big part of the history of this whole story. So yeah, it's really an honor to meet with you. So the camera's rolling. So
Yes.
is it okay? Good. All right.
I'm Vernon Bridges, as I already introduced myself, so it's very nice to meet you, and thanks for taking the time out of your day to meet with us. We appreciate it. A lot of stuff to do.
Yeah, it's gonna be busy.
You
so.
feel the presence of the God of Israel.
Oh, yeah. I definitely feel the presence of God here. I feel, I feel like I'm getting something out of this trip, and that's always a benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he is here again, almost 2,000 years. He went with his people to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
But he's again here, and we feel his presence.
Absolutely. Me
Not
too.
only
Yeah,
spiritually and by the heart, but the events that God is doing with Israel in this special time.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah. Gershon, what I'd like to do is start by talking about your war experience. So we know that in 1948, Israel declared independence, And immediately the Arab nations attacked Israel, and the Arab-Israeli war started. And during that, the next 20 some odd years, or almost 20 years, I guess it was 19 years, Jordan occupied the West Bank and East Jerusalem and controlled the temple.
They
of the Old
occupied
City.
not the West Bank. They occupied Judea and Samaria.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, good. Thank you for correcting me.
You
Yes.
can say the West Bank because even the Eastward Bank
Mhm.
is a part of the Promised Land to Israel.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Perea, I think it was called, right? The East
Yeah.
Bank. Yes. Yeah. So in 1967, in June, the Six-Day War took place, and you were there. Yeah. Could you tell us about that?
Yeah. So I had the privilege, first of all, to be born in such a special time.
Yeah.
It never was in the history of Israel and even the history of all the world. Secondly, I had the privilege to be born as Israeli in a great time in the history of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I will say, if it is a great time in Israel and for Israel, it is a great time for all the world.
Yeah.
And later I will explain myself more. But a major time that never was before. That the prophets of Israel dreamed about it and prophesied about it. Time of redemption of the people of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
After almost 2,000 years of exile.
Right.
After almost 2,000 years, and this country was in a terrible destruction,
Yeah.
controlled by foreigners. And
Yeah, just today was Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, and just that.
that's what
horrible
I
tragedy.
want to say immediately, in a terrible time in the history of Israel,
Yeah.
in the exile. Not only now in the 20th century, you know, with the Holocaust,
Mm-hmm.
but all the way of the exile
Mm-hmm.
was full of pogroms,
Mm-hmm.
Holocausts,
True.
you know.
Yeah.
Just in Ukraine, you know, were killed 16th century, 1.5 million of Jews.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
And along the history, the Inquisition, pogroms,
Mm-hmm.
even in the early 20th century, terrible pogrom,
Mm-hmm.
okay? In a part of Moldova, today it is Romania,
Mm-hmm.
when Jews were killed in terrible ways,
Yeah.
and babies of few months were thrown from veranda after they beat their heads in the wall.
Mm.
The Inquisition, terrible thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the Holocaust. Today we are in the Holocaust day. Actually, for us, every day is a Holocaust day because I was born here in this country. My family came here more than 200 years ago because my first great-grandfather heard the voice of God telling him, go to the land that I promise you.
Mm-hmm.
Start to prepare the land for the coming of the Messiah. Time of redemption is soon to come. And he came here to Jerusalem and he started this end time of godly revolution.
Now, what year was this?
It was 1811.
Oh wow, 1811.
1811.
Okay, so there was already a Zionist movement happening at that point.
Before, the Zionist movement was founded in the end of the 19th century.
1897, yeah.
But actually, it was the first steps of Zionist movement moving,
Right.
because the ideas were not to come to Israel just to live and die there, not to wait passive, as it was 2,000 years in the exile, to wait passive for the coming of the Messiah. And he will do everything. He will take us in a long line to the Holy Land. He will fight for us against the enemies,
Right.
etc., etc. And but you act, cooperate together with the God of Israel, as it was in the biblical times. He taught us, and you read it along the book, the Holy Book. He taught us, you will build and I will bless it. You will fight against your enemies and I will fight with you in the field of battle. So in Zechariah chapter 14:3, God says to Israel, I will fight with you in the field of battle. This is the words.
But you have to go to battle, and then God will fight with you. In other words,
Please?
but we have to go into battle first for God to fight.
Go to the land, and if the enemies will not allow you, you fight, and I will be with you. And he really started this Zionist revolution. And God spoke to his heart and told him, it is not only for your people, but for all the world, all the nations, because redemption and salvation will come to all the world through the redemption of your people, Israel.
Yeah. So I know that a lot of Jewish people, even today, a lot of Israelis believe that, specifically in regards to rebuilding of the temple, and maybe even to the establishment of the state of Israel, back when all that was beginning, that it has to be Messiah. Messiah comes first, and he's the one that does it all. But your position, it sounds like, is more proactive, like the idea that it's up to us to do it, and then Messiah comes in response. That's actually Rabbi Richmond's view.
But to
also.
complete this part, I would say he was killed, my first great-great-grandfather, by Arabs that opposed his activities for the redemption of the people and the land of Israel. And he is considered the first terror victim in this country.
Do you mind if I ask what year was he killed?
He was killed in the year 1854.
Wow.
And before he died, he called all his children and he told them, you continue what I made, because this is the call of God to our people at this time. Don't wait more passive for the coming of the Messiah, but you go and act and bring the Messiah from where he is. So as today the Arabs could kill his body but not his spirit, because his children and grandchildren and others continue. And his message was, build the temple of God.
Wow.
Build the temple of God. Because that's what God is expecting from you. And then when the temple is rebuilt, will come real peace for Israel and for all the world. So this message transferred from father to son and came to me.
Okay. So Gershon, let me ask you about 1967. So you were in the 6-Day War. So what were you in the war? Were you a paratrooper?
Yeah, I was injured a very short time before the 6 Days War. And in a battle. I commanded a unit of Israelis. I was a very young boy, I can say. less than 19 years old. And I was sent with my unit that I commanded 150 soldiers.
This was the period of the Jordanian
Yeah,
occupation,
it
right.
was still a very short time before the 6 Days War.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a time that the Arabs attacked the Syrians, attacked Israel with missiles, like from Gaza today to the Jewish settlements, the Jewish area.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sent to protect. They were on the heights, thousands of them.
Mm. So this is up in the Golan Heights.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
And I, oh shalom. And you know, a year of battles to protect the area that the Arabs, the Syrians wanted to control it.
Mm-hmm.
But to make a long story a short story, almost in the end of the year, when I almost completed my job, my military job, and really my small unit of 150 defeated thousands of men.
Wow.
And all the credit goes to the God of Israel, like in the biblical times.
Mm-hmm.
And now I will tell you, he appeared in all the battles of Israel since 1948, exactly as he promised to Israel.
Right.
And it was a short time before I completed my mission in this area. And they put an ambush to me and my unit. A few months before that, they put me on the top of the murder list.
Mm.
The United Nations observers in this area used to come and tell me, they put you on the murder list, so leave the area.
Wow.
And I told them, I will leave, they will leave the area.
Mm.
I am protected. By whom you are protected? By 150 soldiers, they told me.
Mm-hmm.
And I told them, no, I'm protected by my God.
Right.
He is fighting with us. He is the commander, not me.
Right.
And he has wonderful, brave soldiers, the Israeli soldiers.
But you got injured though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where were
Now, this was the event that really changed my life. Not my spiritual life, because this idea was always in my heart, in my head, and I knew that one day I will serve my God and my people and my land with this. But this ambush, you know, again, it was a battle of 8 hours, and they were defeated again.
Mm.
How can you explain it? Only the answer is through our great God,
Right.
the Almighty God of Israel. And but short time before the battle was finished, between day and night, I took one of 2 tanks that I have with me to save the life of one of my soldiers in the corner of the field of battle.
Mm-hmm.
He was injured terribly, and when I came, under a rain of bullets, I could pick him up and put him inside the tank.
Mm. Wow.
And then the driver of the tank was sure that I am also in the tank, and he drove in the back and drove over me
With a tank.
with a tank.
And you survived. Wow.
Yeah, and I survived.
Wow. You're tough.
Yeah, because God made a miracle. I mean, he drove over me not with the wheels and the
Traps,
Yeah.
I think they're called, right?
but
Yeah.
in between them. But it was
Oh.
enough, but because the tank is very
Low.
low
Yeah.
and close to the ground.
Mm-hmm.
So he drove over me, and broke my body for pieces, especially my spine.
Oh gosh.
And and he continued to our position. He did not know that he drove over me, and I'm laying now as terrible. I was completely paralyzed.
Mm.
I lost my conscience.
Mm.
And then for a short time came to me my conscience. I did not remember anything. Just I heard in my ears like a train is driving over me all the time. But my conscience came back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to stand on my legs and continue the battle.
Mm.
I could not do it.
Mm.
My legs were paralyzed, my hands were also, and then I felt that I'm going to give back my life to my beloved God. And I said, Shema Israel, you know, Shema Israel, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad in Hebrew, what is written to us in Exodus. Oh, listen, Israel, the Lord is our God and He is one.
Mm.
That's what the Jew is saying when he gives back his life to God.
Right, right.
In the same moment, suddenly, I felt like a light is coming from heaven. I don't know how you call it in Hebrew, but in English, brakim, you know, in the winter. However, it was a light that came on me, and in the same time, I could hear Syrians are coming, speaking Arabic, coming close to me. It was already night, but I could hear them coming, speaking Arabic, and their steps. And in the same moment, suddenly they came so close to me, ready to shoot me, and suddenly they turned back.
Wow.
With no reason as it looked, and started to run back, to fled to the mountains of the Golan Heights.
Wow.
And in the same moment, I felt the presence of God among me and with me.
So God has a purpose for your life. He saved your
I
life for a
felt the
reason.
presence of God so strongly in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I felt His presence all my life in my heart.
Was this the moment that you felt like you got the call to start the...
Yeah, this was the moment that I'm sure that God anointed me to carry the mission that I carry until this moment. But not only His presence I felt, but I felt like He is speaking to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
I did not hear a voice, but I feel a voice of God in my heart telling me, Gershon, I still did not finish with you. Be your hands strong, because you have to fulfill in your life still a great mission for me.
And what is that mission?
He did not tell me.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, he does that sometimes.
That's what he told me. You are going to fulfill a great mission in your life. So be your hands strong.
Mm-hmm.
And after a short time, after a few weeks, came the observers of the United Nations to write a protocol about the battle, whom to blame, As usual, the United Nations blames Israel,
Mm-hmm.
despite that here they started the battle, the ambush. However, but when they came, the first thing they told me, maybe in the same words like God, be your hands strong because we are going to share with you something that will give you the strength to overcome. And they told me, we spoke with the Arab officers and we asked them, why you did not kill this young Israeli officer as you wanted? And we heard that you came but you turned back and they answered, oh, we wanted very much to double kill him. We were sure that he's dead, but we wanted to be sure that he's dead and to shoot him. But we could not do it because when we came to him, we saw angels surrounding from all the sides.
Wow.
And a light from heaven covers him.
Mm.
That's the Muslims, the
Wow.
Muslim soldiers.
That's amazing.
We could not do nothing, just to turn back and to run to our position on the mountains. Allah wanted this guy, this young officer, to live, not to die.
Mm-hmm. That's right. That's amazing. Wow.
This was the moment. I understood what mission God, for what God anointed me in this field of battle. And I swore that my life will be dedicated to build the temple of God, to be a house of love and prayer, not only for Israel, but for all the humanity, for all the world, as the prophet Isaiah prophesied. And after 1 year, I left the hospital and I went back to my unit, still with 2 crutches. I could walk with 2 crutches. After a short time, break the 6 days. And I found myself in the day of the liberation of the Temple Mount and the biblical Jerusalem, with my unit on the Holy Temple Mount. You know,
So you were on the Temple Mount
on
the day that it was liberated?
yeah.
Wow. Was your unit actually involved in the fight?
With my soldiers and the other soldiers. The greatest day in the history of Israel. Yeah, and I will never forget when all the soldiers of the Temple Mount, actually all the people of Israel, here General Montagu, the commander of the Israeli forces,
Mm-hmm.
stated, the Temple Mount is again in the hands of Israel and now forever.
Yeah. Very, very famous day.
Yeah, and we stood inside the Dome of the Rock, which is the location of the Holy of Holies. And I will not forget the moment that we stood there and felt again the presence of God so strongly.
So you had to think at that moment that now's the time
Yeah.
that the third Jewish temple would be
Yeah.
built. But that didn't happen.
And I must share with you, you know, all the soldiers cried and wept with tears on their face, not because of sorrow, but because of joy, including soldiers that were secular and atheist from a kibbutz. And when I asked them why you are weeping, they answered, because in the first time in our life we felt and we met the God of Israel. And I tell you, we felt like the gate that was open since Jacob dreamed on the Temple Mount, that the gate from heaven is open and angels are coming up and down. And we felt like this gate is again open after 2,000 years that it was closed. And like angels are coming up and down, blessing the Israeli soldiers. And we felt like that, I tell you, like the Messiah is knocking on the gates of the Temple Mount. Open me, I'm here.
But what happened?
What happened is the weakness of our leadership. In history of a nation, especially in history of Israel, sometimes a great leadership can desire a great time in the life of their nation. Sometimes a great time, like this time, 6 days ago, biggest time in the history of Israel and all the world, met unfortunately weak leadership in Israel.
Moshe Dayan.
Moshe Dayan that did not trust, despite that he mentioned the God of Israel so many times as the leader of Israel, but he did not trust what God said to Israel. Don't fear, especially in the time of the redemption. I will be with you. And I will fight with you, even if all the world will come against you. You will be the majority and they will be the minority. And after 12 hours, he took away the flag.
So it's only 12 hours later
12 hours.
that he announced that the Muslims would retain control of the
They ran
the
away
Temple
from
Mount.
the Temple Mount.
Right.
No one of them remained on the Temple Mount. They were sure that God is fighting with Israel now.
Mm-hmm.
The time of the Arab occupation is over. And why I tell you this? Because on the Temple Mount, maybe 3-4 hours after the occupation, the liberation of the Temple Mount, suddenly came somebody that he represented himself as an Arab. Despite he was not dressed with Arab dresses, he spoke English, good English, but he said, I'm an Arab. And I was, in the time of the Jordanian occupation, I was a guide on the Temple Mount. I guided groups. And I know very well what is the meaning of the Temple Mount, the place of the temple. And I was sent by God. That's what he told me and the group that was around him. When I told him, you are not afraid to come in the middle of the room? No, because God sent me now to tell you that you should rebuild your temple. And this is even written in our holy book in the Quran, that this land belongs to you, and one day God will give you back the land and Jerusalem, and the temple is rebuilt. This is the time that you should rebuild the temple. And I'm sure you are going to do it tomorrow, to start it, as God is calling you to do. So I came to guide you and to tell you, if you forget and you don't know where is the location of the temple on this holy mountain.
Wow.
And he took us to the dome of the rock and he said, you see this rock? This is the location of the Holy of Holies of the temple.
The foundation stone.
Yeah, the foundation stone. This is the stone that was in the middle of the Holy of Holies, and the Ark of Covenant was on it.
And this was an Arab telling you this.
Yeah,
Yeah, interesting. A Muslim.
yeah. And then it took us in another small dome next to the Dome of the Rock.
Yeah, the dome of the change.
Of the chain.
Mhm.
He said, this is the location of your hotel. And then he took us to other parts of what he said, this is the place of the temple,